Firstly, welcome Frankie to Holland. I hope you've enjoyed your stay so far. Has it been enjoyable?
Yeah, very much so.
Just like to ask you a few questions for our readers. We'll be producing a digital magazine, so we want to learn a little bit more about the man, who Franki Leung is. First of all, where was you born, Frankie?
Wow, I was born in Macau, a Portuguese colony.
Okay.
Do you speak Português? Fala português?
No.
Esqueci.
No fala.
Eu só falo português.
Okay, and how old is Frankie Leung?
Me?
Yeah.
60.
60?
Yes.
That's amazing. You do really
You look
well.
young. You look very young.
You have to tell me your secret. Frankie, are you married? Your marital status? Are you single, married? Yeah.
At the moment, I'm single.
Okay.
At the moment.
Okay. Okay. And your official CKU work title, what is that? What is your official title?
I'm the Deputy General Secretary.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. At what age did you become interested in the dog show world, Frankie?
I started the show at when I was 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what groups do you judge? I know you're a judge, but what groups do you judge?
I got all breed license at 2006, and I'm FCI all breed judge.
Okay, interesting. How long have you been part of the CKU team?
Well, because I was educated in Hong Kong and Australia, and then I'm the life member of Hong Kong Kennel Club before we merged together with CKU, China Kennel Union, at 2017, and I established a local club in southern part of China at 2013, and since then I cooperate with CKU to run the all-breed shows in the southern part of China, like in Guangdong areas. Yes.
Okay. Interesting. How many members of the CKU native breed team are there?
Altogether, 4 of us concentrate for the native breed division.
Must be very busy and a lot of work for you.
Yes, because China is such a huge country, and the native breed spread it in different provinces. So every year we have to plan for a trip for research, and to be honest, I reckon the trip to Chongqing is the toughest journey.
Totally agree with you.
It's amazing. Really unexpected. Not like in when I first deal with the Shanghai, which located in Xi'an, and it's so easy to reach the breeder. Not like in Chongqing. You go to the mountain, and the path are so narrow. Sometimes the car are hardly to get there. It's a really, really tough journey.
In reality, I've heard, because of the terrain and the atmosphere and the weather, is how really the Chongqing Dog and the Chongqing Hound have developed really for breeding in these unusual conditions. I mean, what you're saying yourself is, even for a person from China, Chongqing is a very unique place.
Exotic place.
Yeah.
Exotic.
It's the right word. It's exotic.
Whose idea was it to start the Native Breed Conservation Club?
Me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
It was 2016.
Okay.
I got the permission from our president. At the early beginning is the Shanghai. I was in Xi'an, and I reckon that breed are beautiful, and I just want to do something for this Asian breed. I also believe that is the Han, originally is from China.
Yeah.
You can see the feature from that breed. There's like Saluki, Greyhound, Whippet, Asawa. They all got the feature from San Han. So that's why I proposed to our president, and he feel more than happy that I established a club to do the work for our native breed. And then the next one is Chongqing and Dong, and then we start Tangao and also Home.
The rest of Lesya.
Yeah. Altogether, at the moment, we have 6 breeds working on.
It must have been difficult for you because there's many ancient native breeds in China for you to focus on just a few.
Yeah. There are some other breeders in a different area wrote to me and asked me to do something for their breed, but honestly speaking, four of us are fully occupied by our existing breeds,
Workload.
6 breeds already, and we have no extra budget to work for others at this stage.
China holds the key to many questions regarding the relationship between man and the domesticated dog. Is there any plans in the future by any organisation in China to carry out a genetic study specifically on Chinese breeds to understand this relationship better?
Yes. A month ago, I have a meeting with other organization, the association under the agriculture department, the government department. Yeah. So they want to do the investigation. Of course, the government have much more money to do the research and everything, and CKU will take a part in this research team. So it could be better in the coming years. We have more sources to carry on this job.
Within your career with showing and handling and judging, what's your most memorable moment in the dog show world? Do you have one?
Oh, of course. When I was young, 1998, I bred my Sharpei. My homebred Sharpei went to Finland for the first World Dog Show, and I believe I'm the first Chinese who won the world winner, and especially by a Chinese dog. Okay. So this is one of my great memory in my show career.
What has been the response from the dog show world, specifically your colleagues, to the native breed scheme and obviously the Chongqing Dog and Chongqing Hound? Have you had a good response from your colleagues?
Yes, I'm the instructor for judges training scheme, and a lot of my trainee judges, they follow me to contribute their effort in the breed, like Benson.
Benson's a
And
fantastic judge.
He's doing an excellent job for the Home, because only myself, I can't do so much. So I need to introduce to other people to pay the effort to develop our breed. Because as you know, a lot of people who deal with the native breed, they are not really knowledgeable dog person. They are farmers. Yeah. Basically, they are farmers, which I reckon, is not scientific, to carry out the work. So it could be good to have more young people and have a knowledge to develop the breed.
Do you have a theory over the length of coat variation in the Chongqing Dog? Do you believe there is a difference between dogs raised in the north of the region and the south with regards to the length of coat?
I doubt it, because in general, the climate in Chongqing is quite similar.
Okay.
As I explained to our fans here before, because when you look at Sichuan province, it will cover many villages. For their own villages, they have maybe a slightly different type of dog, that is exists in Sichuan. So that is why it could be good when we go there to do the research. Usually we will go to different villages to see the differences. So I don't really think that because of the climate affect the cold condition.
Okay. Desired maximum length of bite being 5 millimeters, as well as the ears, tail. How long do you think this will take breeders to achieve this in their breeding program, to get close to the breed standard?
Well, I think it couldn't be a problem if you realize our standard, and that is our goal. And with a little bit of luck, I think probably 2 generations you can easily achieve. It's not that difficult if you can deal with the breeding wisely.
And briefly, I know we've talked about it today in the seminar, but this is obviously for our readers, for the digital magazine. What are your beliefs over the colours brindle, white and blue? Can you just summarise that without going into too much length? But
You mean
we see brindle, white and blue. I know we've discussed it today, but just for the video interview, I'd like you to say your piece on.
That is the part I do worry about for Chongqing or Chundong. Chundong not that much of a problem, but Chongqing, I'm a little bit scared because there are some people are dealing with the breed really commercialized, and the public, some of the people, they love exotic, right? So they are going to create something strange in order to make bigger money. That's why I'm really alert with those strange color in our breed. That's why I tell the people, don't give any excuses to yourself. For the breed, Chongqing only acceptable mahogany or black. Full stop. No negotiation. That is our standard.
Yeah.
Just follow the standard.
Okay. How many Chongqing dogs and Chongqing hounds are registered with the CKU at this moment in time, roughly? I know you can't give us an exact number, but
I think before I left, it's around 800 dogs being registered.
how do you feel the target is for official recognition in 2021? Do you think we're on schedule for that target?
Yes. To be honest with you, I'm trying to prepare the paperwork at the early of next year. It could be a tough job to work it out, but I will start it for early next year to send the document to FCI for their advice, because they have the scientific commission and also the Breed Standard Commission. These two commissions, the scientific commission, it could be more easier because you can do the X-ray and everything to prove that the dog are sound and healthy. Scientific commission could be more easy to pass, but Breed Standard Commission, we have to do a lot of negotiation because I have to find out what sort of criteria they want. You know, if you don't know the people or if you don't really understand what they need, you know, your application could sit there for years and you never get approval.
Thank you. Okay, that's my questions. I know my colleague, Mr. Markus Monroe, would like to ask you some questions.
Thank you. My question is, how do you decide to separate Chongqing Dog and Chuan Dog? And why is even today in China, for the many Chinese, one breed?
Good question. In fact, many years ago in Sichuan area, I think Chongqing just separate from Sichuan province and become an independent state not long ago. We should call them, no matter Chongqing or Chundong, they are the native breed in that area. Okay? And then gradually, because of the city development, and then the dog, like Chundong, or the native dog, we shouldn't say Chundong. The native dog went to Chongqing, and gradually they developed into a different type, especially on the scalp. Yeah? They got undershot bite, you know, not like Chundong. Chundong in Chinese meaning is Eastern Sichuan. Chun is Sichuan, Dong is East. Eastern Sichuan. Eastern Sichuan actually,
This is Sichuan.
Chongqing. Eastern part of Sichuan is Chongqing. So when I have the meeting with the breeders and the old breeders, and well, I got several meetings with them, but every time you can't compromise because both parties, they all claim themselves are original. You know, and then at the end, they argue, and you know, the Sichuan people speaking loud and like fighting, and then I was there and listened to them, and then after several meetings, I reckon there's no way we can, you know, compromise and make a standard could comfort two parties, you know, because very simple, you know, the scalp of the dog, the construction are totally different. You can't say which one is correct because Chundong still now they are using as a hunting dog. So no hunting dog with undershot mouth, right? So we must make the Chundong hunt as a Caesar bite. Once you have Caesar bite, you won't accept an undershot mouth, right? And also you can see the Chongqing, the scalp are more cross than Chundong. And also the length is not 1:1, it's 2:1, the proportion of the scalp. So at the end, I decided, you know, from now on, we split the breed like Norwich and Norfolk, right? Because of the year are different, right? So at the end, I decided to split two breed, and then two breed have their own standard for the people to follow and develop. So after that, actually, it's good. And that's it, because after my decision, they stopped fighting.
This is true.
Yeah, they stopped fighting. No argument again. No. Yeah, but of course, at the moment, because of you know, the hybrid dog exists, that is why they still have to find a way out. You know, but I suggest to the people, no, it's not necessary to panic you know, if you have a hybrid dog, right? When you do the breeding, you know, depends on your decision. If I want to go for Chundong, then you use Chundong to breed. And then when you have the offspring, you pick the standard according to Chundong and register them as a first generation. You know, it doesn't matter because 100 years ago, they are the same. You know, but just because we decided to split them, so we are going to two different directions only.
I think you saved the breed because both breed have ancient roots.
Yeah.
We have, of course, like 2,000 years old pottery from Sichuan. It's showing a dog with short muzzle. So it's not just 100 years ago. There is some kind of proto Chongqing dog who exists probably 2 years and 2,000 years.
Yes, yes. Well, according to the statue we found from the dome, is over 2,000 years.
Yeah. Of course, hybridization was there because the people don't understand the difference and they don't care. Just looking for the nice dog, and it's understandable. And what about the shape and the 10-9 and 1-1?
Well, that is actually is my idea. A lot of Chongqing Dog, you have been there, you know, in general, their body are very long. And as an exhibitor, I know, you know, if I accept that type of dog, then Chongqing have not a chance to get a higher level award in the
Dog show.
future development, the dog show. Because for me, I want a sang dog to win in the future. Maybe not now, of course not now, right? But in the future, with the sang body, I think they have a chance to attempt the higher level award.
I can tell you because I'm showing my dogs in many European countries where is the G11 permitted and they're eye-catcher. And many people interested. Also the FCI judges coming in. And they're all prizing your work.
A lot of foreigner, they are quite interested with the breed. Yeah, it's true.
How do you see Chongqing Dog in next 5 and 7 years?
Well, I feel very ashamed to say this, but I believe in the coming years, the quality of the dog, you will find, you know, much better in Europe than in China. Or maybe in China we have the advantage that we have a bigger gene pool, right? Because they are the native breed there. But unfortunately, the people over there, the people who bred them in Chongqing area, they don't have a modern, you know, knowledge regarding dog breeding or even the health. You know, the health problem in Chongqing is very popular because in Chongqing climate is quite humid, and because of the wrinkles, it can easily grow the fungus, and then that is why some of the dogs are so smelly. Yeah, so that is why I believe when Chongqing come to Europe, they will have a much better environment to grow, and then with your knowledge, I believe they can improve rapidly once they come to Europe.
I can see that many breeder in the last 2 years, they fixed the proportion in very good way, and the main, my concern is about right now the code, because our judges, they don't understand this type of dog. It's a huge mystery. I was in a dog show and the judge come and say, the dog is sick, I cannot judge him.
Yes, we have this problem also
And
when we go to the vet, they say they got skin problems because of the lack of hair on the back and the tail.
Next day, I go to the veterinary, we investigate the dog, we make a lab test, we're waiting for days, weeks, and the dog is healthy.
They can understand.
They can understand. I think it's important that it's in the standard breed, that it's a kind of mysterious skin. It's need to be, because this is the thing what make the Chongqing really Chongqing.
That is one of the characteristics
Yes.
of the code.
I think the problem is you have, as an example, the Shar-Pei. By your own admissions today, many Shar-Peis are not in their original form in Europe, so many FCI judges don't really come across native breeds in their original form. So
Because they never see, they never travel to the China. But for example, I was all over the Chongqing, even Chengdu, and I have seen different types and area and the coat and the length of the tail, and the breed should be preserved in the really, let's say, ancient type.
it has an
That's
ancient.
original
And
form.
before the Shar-Pei was also red, and the Chow-Chow was red, and right now we have many colors, and I think we should preserve it.
I think
Chuan Dog in the red color and Chongqing Dog red and black, and there's nothing between. That's it.
also address the issues, as you say, Markus, with regards to the coat. The coat is a very unique aspect of native breeds, and you don't particularly see it anymore. So this is why, by your admissions and your admissions, judges are a little bit confused by that very short, harsh coat with no undercoat, appearing bald in many places, like the thighs and over the head and the ridge of the back. For some judges, it's a very
Because they
confusing.
mistake it for
Yeah.
something unhealthy, dermatitis or something like that.
Maybe it's something you
Which
could
is-
address at some point
It's
to
an
make things
ethnic
easier
feature.
for us. Well, what will happen eventually, breeders will breed to what the judges like in the ring,
It's
and you
Exactly,
will lose this
exactly.
breed typical
Yes.
point. Yeah.
when the judge refused to judge my dog, there was another dog. It was a Chuan Dog, and he was completely hurt. So you see, this is a healthy dog.
Yes, that is the thing we have to educate the people,
Yeah.
and that is why after a painful experience with Shar-Pei, like nowadays the Shar-Pei color, a lot of them the color are incorrect, but we can't say them that they are incorrect, because during 60s, the breed standard we written for the foreigner is all solid color acceptable, because at that stage we thought, solid color, fawn or red or blue, not blue, black or chocolate, solid color. But then after that, the breeder create blue, lilac, a funny red color, which is not exist in Shar-Pei. In China, I never ever see a blue or lilac Shar-Pei in China. That is why when I start to write the breed standard for Chongqing and Chundong, I try to make it more specific and no allowance for anything, because I just want to make it tight, and then everybody just follow it and no drama in the future.
Fantastic what you say right now, because this is for us very important. Unfortunately, in the last 3 years, we have very bad information from dog factories, and they provide us with fake information. And I was fight against people like this. It was very difficult, but because the more people was thinking this is the truth.
Yes, yes. And then, you know, because they are very good businessmen and they know how to do the packaging. And then it looked like very reliable, but you know, they just want to do a good trader. You know, that is unfortunately in the Chongqing world.
And I'm also very proud to say that first the DNA controls showing that Chongqing Dog it's absolutely Chinese origin.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I think huge success for the nation of China to have a own kind of bulldog, not only the Europeans.
No, that is the thing I don't like you to describe Chongqing as a China bulldog. They are not bulldog.
It's a own type of
No.
Molosser.
No, yeah, it sounds better. I don't, because, you know, when the people, you know, hear the word bulldog, then, you know, they will think about unhealthy, right? Right now, we have to deal with in the dog world more sensitive.
I understand. It's the same like we used
You
to
know,
say horse coat.
Yeah.
In Chinese, it's not
Yeah.
exist.
Don't-
It sounds funny.
Don't, from now on, don't mention
I have
no
yeah.
Chinese bulldog.
Yeah.
So we're happy with mini Molosser.
Minimal also,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
better.
that's better.
That sounds better.
More professional. Yes.
Okay, so about the European breeders, what do you think they should do in order to play their role in this preservation and promotion of the Chongqing Dog?
Yeah. I think first of all, when they get involved with the breed, I hope they can register the dog under CKU system, because that way we can collect more information, especially for our further development. That is important, because if you register with elsewhere, you know, they don't have the system like what we did at the moment, because every single dog we got the blood sample, and then we have all the record in CKU office. I think that is the first step, you know. And then the other thing is that's why I proposed to Matthew. I think it could be good, you know, if you can travel to Chongqing and see and observe, you know, what exactly the life in the area. Then you have a better idea.
Yes, and understanding
This
of
is-
the
It
background.
would be a lovely idea to travel there in a group and
Yeah.
possibly make something similar like this, almost a mini documentary.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is exactly what I did 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't just visit one breeder, I visited many breeder. Really, in some villages deep in the bamboo where was no electricity.
Yeah.
And they have fantastic dog. I see for the first time, really, they're a little bit longer, but absolutely, the Molosser type, the tail is short, and always orange.
So no black.
I-
You didn't see black?
No.
So, or very rarely.
It's very rare.
Very
You know,
Mm.
in the city of Chongqing, there's a different, because these people living in the city, and they picking up also the black raw dogs and bringing and breeding. But if you go as far from Chongqing city,
Mhm.
it's very difficult to see a black dog. But yes, they have black dogs,
Very rare.
very rare.
And especially good one. Very
Yes,
rare.
which are the solid color.
But
without
absolutely, the
marks.
tan dogs, they exist and they're created by conservation center. This is the fact. And many dogs what we have here, 90% that was coming from conservation center. That's why people believing in another story what is not true, because it's coming from one, not from different people. And I'm very happy with work what CKU did for this breed. I think it's historical thing.
Yes, especially that there is a standard and there is no room for compromises or interpretations, or should be very, as you said, very tight. So there can be a direction that the breeders can follow for the future.
Because I want them, you know, before we make mistake with Sharpei, and we give the allowance, and then the people making funny thing, and it's rather difficult to get it changed, you know. But for this, from now on, all the Chinese breed, we are responsible to make a good standard to control the development, to protect our own breed.
I mean, this is right now not a question, but I think if CKU sends someone to the region of Sichuan and start to educate people, you will have more native breeder who will join.
I tell
It's
you,
very difficult, but they are very nice dogs. But
I tell you,
the breeder, they
every
don't
time.
understand the importance. You know, it's sad to see, you know,
Nice
high
quality
quality
dogs.
dogs, you know,
Yeah.
not registered, and they don't have a future, you know.
I try every time, you know, every year I go there at least 2 to 3 times a year.
We meet also there.
But-
I try to take so many people to
But-
the CKU dog show.
But the local people in that area, they have no concept of kennel club, they have no concept of registration.
It was very difficult.
And they have no problem for them to sell the puppy. You know, when they have a litter, they can sell it right away. Very simple. Why I have to
Yes.
register the dog?
Yeah, it's
They
a
don't
huge
bother.
demand for the puppies. And
So it's
you
a
know,
highly prized possession, a good
Yes.
Chongqing dog.
Yes.
could you tell us
You
what is
know,
the
like-
average price?
Like, no, not this one. This one. This dog here. 20 years ago, my student, he's my trainee judge. He spent 80,000 renminbi to buy this dog.
And what would that be in euros, Markus?
20 years ago.
20, it's about 3,500 euro.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yes.
But
20 years
but I can tell you right now, some average good stew dog, it's between 4, 5, and 7,000. Even right now, I don't know how's your experience,
Yeah.
but it's like this.
No, I got him with 4 buckets of wine, Chinese wine. No, not only money, right?
Yeah.
Because the guy didn't want to sell. The guy is not a breeder, but he loved this breed. He got 2 dogs, him and his son, 2 dogs in a plantation area. And then the guy said, no, I don't sell. You know, this my pet at home. So I can't stay in Chongqing that long. So I asked my trainee judge, you know, to try the best to get him. And then at the end, he found out the guy loved to drink. So 4 buckets of wine, and he went there and have a drink, start to drink before lunch and until evening. And then he convinced him, okay.
He said he was lucky. My last trip in China, I take the Xi'an Baichuan, and I asked him to take me to the best and most expensive stud males. I want to see them. And we have visited some, I would say they're rich guys. They buy very expensive dogs, and they're like status there. It means I have a good life if you have an expensive dog.
Status
And they have no interest to sell the dog.
No,
I asked him.
no.
He said, say for me 20,000 US dollar. And say, I will not sell my dog. No way. And he's there on the chain.
No.
That's reality.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I use the wine to fix it.
It's
You love
just
to,
nothing.
you love to drink.
So would you say that the, sorry Corina, just jump in 2 seconds. Would you say that it's become a very popular breed with the broader spectrum people in China? I mean, it's been very sort of a kept secret within Chongqing
Yeah.
region.
Is
But now-
right now it's getting more and more popular
Okay.
in other area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially after the World Dog Show and the people, another part of China, people come to the World Dog Show and see the dog, and a lot of them feel great interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just Europe, it's China now. That, yeah.
This is information what I have from the Chinese breeder that sold out.
Yeah.
The pup is going very quickly.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Chinese
right,
Very
buyers.
Chinese.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The local people love this breed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Chongqing, Sichuan area, they love this breed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have great demand even locally.
Okay.
Mhm.
Corina?
I know we discussed this at the seminar, but maybe if we can summarize a little bit the most important phenotype features of the dog, like heads and body proportion, tail, muzzle, shape of the eyes.
I think, at the moment, as I say, this breed is a head breed. So we have to, concentrate with the head, the construction, the head expression, that is the important part, right?
Coming to 10-9.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the proportion, because it could be easy to improve. But the characteristic of the breed are rather important. The head and also the tail.
Mr. Franki, you have not seen the type which have the breeder in Russia. The dogs, they have fantastic head, but they are absolutely quadratic and they are much higher than our dog. That's why I worry about the right proportion.
No, because right now we have our standard. Anything out of the scale, is no good. Not like before. Before we don't have standard. And especially if FCI accept our risk standard, that is there,
Yeah, the danger with a head breed, I come from Dog de Bordeaux. It was predominantly many years classified as a head breed, one of the most powerful heads in the dogdom. But the danger is, I saw with breeders 20 years ago, everybody focused on the head
and then
and
forgot
forgot
the
about
rest.
construction
Yes.
and movement.
Yeah.
And it was, okay, it's changed now, it's different. But this
But-
is something to look out for, I think, in our
Yeah,
breed.
but from my point of view, first of all, the characteristic of the breed is the most important thing. Chongqing, the head and the tail.
Yes, this needs to be
look
fixated.
at-
And the coat.
And
Yes,
the ears.
yes. But like the tail, at the moment, even in Chongqing, I find a lot of dog with a curved tail. That is worrying me. If you don't pay attention, that is why I repeat and repeat. The tail is the distinguish of the breed. The curved tail, you have to be careful.
I have 6 dogs, and all my dogs have different qualities. Some have better qualities than the other, and I do have some with the very beautiful bamboo tail. But I do find that the males, because I think they're dominant, carry their tails better constantly, whereas the females, it can vary. But I have one young female, in certain situations, will carry her tail perfectly. In an excited situation, it will curl a touch. Other times it may drop. So depending on the mood of the
Yes.
female,
Yes.
I will get a different look, variation on the tail. Whereas I do have some with beautiful tails, but then they have other problems also. Yeah. But yeah, like you say, it's something for us to focus on. Yeah.
And what I can tell from my experience, that even 2 good dogs, male and female, not so high quality puppies. This is, I think, what we need to do in the next time to stabilize the breed. Most of my dogs, not most, all, they have a perfect tail. But I'm honest, I have puppies with curly tail.
Me also.
That's reality. And there is also second thing. I have puppies which longer muzzle. It means that there are some Chuan dogs in the past. And this is reality. Many breeders don't want to tell this.
But within the standard, 2 to 1 in the head does give length of muzzle. It's not such a scary thing. I have a beautiful female, beautiful tail. She was on your presentation today, but a little bit too long in the body also. It's going to be complicated. It's not going to be easy to start.
And it's a nice journey. We're on the right way with Mr. Franki.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay, Corina, did you have
No,
a question? Okay.
we are.
Well, it's been really wonderful today. It's obviously day 1 of a speciality weekend.
Yes.
Really enjoyed having you, and we look forward to you judging tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to say to our
Well,
digital readers with regards to?
well, let's work hard, and then I hope one day Chongqing can show in the World Dog Show, and also have a good success for the breed in the future.
I totally agree. Yeah, I think it's happy days. Well,
I'm working very hard to bring the Chongqing Dog on the World Dog Show.
Okay. Maybe I'm the judge.
I can hope to see you there.
Yes.
any further questions? No. Okay, that wraps up for today. Thank you very much, Frankie.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you.
Corina.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Markus. Thank
Thank
you.
you.